Hello.
Splitting.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I was dying at this random man. He was very sweet and
Thank
helpful,
God
I
he
guess.
got off. I was
Hi,
like,
Emily. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating. Can y'all hear my fan? It's so loud.
oh my God, I need a fan now. I'm like sweating. My cat is about to try to bust out.
Ooh, okay. I need all my. Did you make your drink? Did you try your drink?
Yes.
It's so good. I got this little cup from Target. Try not to go, but
Sorry, my cat would have banged on the door forever. Let me see. So cute.
so cute. It looks like, yeah, we got the I don't know if it's supposed to be or not, but
Wow.
it's $3 in the bullseye section. So I don't think I'm fancy. On a budget. I also realized,
yeah, where do you want to start?
I don't know if we should go chapter by chapter. Do you want to go into notes? Yeah. Hi, Di. I have reread, not organized. I've not officially front to back reread, but because I'm a Kindle searcher.
Yeah, I have been reading on my Kindle and doing notes because all my tabs and stuff didn't come in time. So
fun. And yeah, Emily, I'm sure you are qualified, absolutely qualified. Probably also. I don't even know where to begin, but I will say, for the few of us that are in here right now, that at least for me, I wanted to approach this reread from a non-extremism point of view. I feel like there's a lot of extremism within this fandom, and I think that it is okay, obviously, to read however you prefer to read in your heart. But I do have a little bit of an issue with calling people names if they don't read the same as you. So that's my goal here. My goal here is to read and just develop my own opinions. And I just don't want to try to fit into. I want to make my own assumptions. So yeah. That's why I'm doing this.
My reread is I want to go in and try to remind myself to step out of Feyre's point of view, because I was what SJM did was brilliant. Writing from her point of view, she's so brilliant. And when people say she's not that great of a writer, and I'm like, then you just don't get it, because she really is. I'm not even lying. I skimmed through Silver Flames because I hated Nesta that much. But that's because the writing truly worked. And now that I've stepped outside of it, you guys know my theories on Reese and Nesta and all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I was too Feyre blinders on.
But I think again, like we've been saying, that's the tool. That's what was meant to be. It was meant to be used in that way for us to see through a rose-colored lens, at least. I mean, and there are aspects to Feyre's feelings, even if they are through her perspective. Feyre's feelings on their dialogue are still valid. How she interprets things may not be, how she's interpreting her sister's treatment of her and where her sisters are coming from. That may not be valid. Rather, it may not be their true intention. However, her feelings for how she's being treated, what she's experiencing, are still valid. And so I think that's why it's good to go back through and get this perspective. It's good to see Feyre sort of deal with this. And this is what I want to talk about today. One of the biggest things I want to talk about tonight is a deep-seated issue with parentification and Feyre being made to be. I mean, that's what parentification is. It's just making a child take on the role of the parent. And we see that 10 times over in Feyre's role in her family. And, the stipulation with parentification is typically if there are siblings, it causes immense sibling rivalry. And I think that that's why we see a lot of what we see. But part of it is natural sibling beef. But the reason that there's a flame underneath of it is because Feyre has been parentified horribly by her parents, and then it just creates this divide between her and her sisters, and I don't know, I want to look at it.
I'm just sharing the live with some frenzies.
Thank you for sharing, Emily, by the way.
Join. I swear next time I'll figure out the whole co-host thing. I thought I had it down. I was like, oh, this is the right button to choose.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
I am, Emily, I'm the oldest. And I think it's, you know, how there's like, depending on what child you are, there are sort of markers that are associated with that. But yeah, I'm the eldest daughter. Plight, but I was also an only child for a while. I'm coming at this from a perspective of TMI, but we're all friends here. I have a lot of childhood trauma that I come from, and I think that it's a perspective that gives me an idea of, you know, what it would have been like for Feyre to feel this like separation from her siblings because she's having to care for them. And usually it isn't the youngest. Usually it is the oldest child who is falling into that trend, and it doesn't make it okay. Like if it was Nesta, it wouldn't have been okay that Nesta was parentified because she's the oldest and she sort of falls into that role. But I think it's more common, and people would understand that more. They'd be like, oh, Nesta is feeling some type of way because there's a lot of burden put on her. And I don't think that gets as much highlight with it being Feyre, personally.
I'm an only child, but I have stepsisters, and I'm the oldest of the step siblings. But yeah, I am wondering how she got that dynamic down too, Emily, because I mean, like, I guess I could kind of see because I was one of the like neighborhood kids. So like I had a ton of friends who also had siblings, and their siblings treated me like a sibling. So, I mean, I could go home and get away from it, which was great. But like while I was in their home, like there was no taking it easy on me, or, you know, like I fight with my best friends like siblings.
Yeah.
Like, and I have two best friends. We've been best friends like our whole lives. And we have been in so many fights where we're like screaming at each other, blocking each other's phone number. And then I'm like, she's going to call me tomorrow. Like, we're fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sorry, you can't get rid of me. I will show up at your house. Like, you know.
And I think it's kind of like every time I see them bickering and just they're being bitchy to each other. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're being bitchy to each other. It's a fact. I mean, being a bitch doesn't mean you can be a bitch for 1 second. It doesn't mean you are a bitch. They're being bitchy to each other in the same way that in Encanto, the names are slipping, but the sisters are assholes to each other. And it is the same thing, but you can't say that the flower sister isn't being a bitch. Okay? Hold on. My dog needs something. Can you just talk to yourself? I'm sorry. Of course this is happening.
I'm trying to go back through the comments. You should feel bad for Feyre, but also not see switching the sister roles as a solution. I am really curious about that dynamic, honestly, because Feyre she feels like she has to take care of the family, right? Because she's made this promise to their mother. But we do see a parentification of Nesta because she takes care of Elaine. And I'm like really curious as to where Nesta's disconnect with Feyre is, because she definitely takes on the parental role for Elaine. Like, so I'm just so curious what happened there. And I think that would lead more into the conversation about Mama Archon and how she treated the three girls and how she trained Nesta and Feyre she didn't train Feyre or anything, but she treated them so differently. And I think that's created a divide between them for sure.
Yeah, I think also, I mean, I have 3 boys, and they're about 2 years apart, and my 2 older boys, they are at an age where they play better together. I think that dynamic between Elaine and Nesta can be explained by just them being the older siblings who were born. My dog is in the other room messing with, she wants a treat, so she got a treat. Anyway, but I think that dynamic between Elaine and Nesta makes sense. But again, I think because of the parentification of Feyre, where she feels like she's taking care of these people, then she's reading too far into it. And I have a lot of notes about this. I had a whole spiel ready, honestly. But I think that she reads too far into it. A lot of it is like, do they notice that I'm not here? Are they going to notice I'm gone? She sees them laughing and smirking and talking and whispering together, and she feels like her own burdens are not. It's a sense of like not being cared for, and it's like when two people who are in a relationship are battling it out for attention. At the end of the day, it's like I'm asking you for something, and I'm doing it in a way that's not really asking you what I want. If that makes sense. So I feel like their bickering is Farrah maybe saying, "I want to feel seen by you." How the ground with Isaac. So from what I've just read, because I just read the last part, they just found out that Isaac was getting ready to be married. She's still planning on going to sleep with him when she's leaving the market, but I didn't think it was for a long time. That doesn't change anything, but my point is I don't think they had enough time to say don't. And you're right, like they let her just walk away in the market and be like, but my daughter needs to be put to bed. Okay, come back if you can. But what's interesting about that, and to hold, because let me just make a statement. I love Nesta. I can relate to Nesta so much. So I'm not like a Nesta hater at all. But I can see how, like, Nesta didn't care to give Feyre that advice because Nesta gave her money. Feyre gave her money. Feyre gave her the coin to say, here's the money you want to go buy your cloak and to go buy your boots. And again, this is Feyre's perspective, but the reason nothing is said is because Nesta got the money. That's what she wants. That's her priority in that moment.
But also, I think they're all in such desperate times. They're all trapped in that tiny little cottage together that she's like, you know what? Go.
Oh, yeah.
Go have your fun, I guess. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like still not morally okay. And I don't think morally any of them are. They're all morally gray.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have
Close my door really quickly.
So many, but yeah, I know we're already on like a big whole thing about Nesta and Feyre. They all have work to do. They all have work to do. But yeah. My thing is like I want to just not dispel. I'm not reading to dispel, but even just the first couple chapters are like there's a lot of assumptions or things that are being made to sound a certain way about Nesta and Feyre's relationship that aren't necessarily true, and that's why I wanted to reread because you can't misquote dialogue. I don't know personally if first person. I'm not a literary specialist, but I don't think you can lie first person dialogue.
But we only know, I think that's what makes first person tricky is because we only know we only know what that person knows. So we don't have Nesta's perspective. We don't. So that's why, I was such a Nesta hater. I'm not anymore at all. And I love that the POV switches. And then that kind of, like, I already talked to you about this a little bit. That leads me into my other theory that I don't think Feyre is actually the female main character of this series anyway, but I digress. But, my open mind this time around is to try to step back so that way I'm not blinded by only what Feyre knows. Like, the perfect example is, right in the beginning, she talks about how fairies can't lie. They can't lie. And everyone knows they can't lie. Well, then as soon as she, later we know she gets there, and Lucian's like, yeah, we can lie, you idiot. So it's like the whole, until we get to that point, but we are under the assumption that they can't lie, Yeah. We only know what she knows.
And the same for, Iron. There's just so many things and that's a lot of that is told to all humans. So I think that's like a naivety that they sort of made humans feel like, and I feel like we're kind of jumping. We haven't like organized how we want to talk about this.
I know.
So we're kind of all over the place here.
Yeah, I agree, Halls. It is intentional and it is a plot mechanism for sure.
Which is why we all move from, and I didn't even love her the first time I read it. The first time I read this book, she annoyed the fuck out of me, Feyre. She still does. But my only intention as far as talking about their sibling dynamic is that it doesn't take away from people's behavior, but it is important to understand where they're coming from. This is not just Feyre being completely ignorant and naive. She is living based off of the situation that she's in and where her parents have put her. And parenting, as much as, and there's a great conversation going on, Prince and Bex, and everybody's talking about how Feyre doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean she's going to be a good mother just because she loves her kids. And I think that that's a really good point to make, because this is how you understand that. You understand that she had no control as a child or a young adult. She was parentified. She was made to grow up faster than she was intended to. And that pays a toll on your ability to, I think, reasonably make decisions, obviously, but in her role as a parent, that's gonna determine how good she is as a parent, her ability to heal. And I only say that coming from somebody who has a lot of healing that I've done and healing to do, but you can't just look at yourself in the Ouroboros and be like, look at that piece of shit. I love it. You have to look at yourself and be like, okay,
that whole situation was,
I need to work on that. Like, that's called self-awareness, bitch. Sorry, I don't know if you can cuss on TikTok Live.
okay, so that kind of leads me to like a good point that I did want to talk about is like the promise that her mom made her. It kind of makes me wonder about the lore that she's told about bargains, because she says in her world, right, somewhere in here, that she talks about all they have is their word. All they have is their promises. So she thinks she is held to this, I have to keep my family together because I promised my mother on her deathbed.
Yeah.
But they're human. So technically she's not held to that like a bargain, right?
Yeah.
But then it got me thinking, like, if there is some mystical side to her family line, is it some kind of bargain? And is that why things were going sideways until she was reunited with her sisters?
I know we were talking about this. That's such a crazy idea, because we were branching off of the Hades and Persephone.
Yeah.
With maybe there's something with like the cycles of her mother. And I do think that we were talking about how you were saying maybe her mother was dying. You can say it. I don't want to say your idea about the bargain.
Sorry. That I'm like trying to open this to make my drink.
Oh, yeah. It's hot. I forgot I was drinking this.
So I was saying that maybe Feyre, their Mama Archeron, that's what I usually call her, was dying because she was in some kind of bargain with the fairies. Because like you had said, she was warning Feyre specifically, we don't know about the other girls, but because Feyre's the only one who's talking about it, right? Not to, like, warning her against the Fae. Don't eat or drink anything that they give you, but stay away from the Fae. Don't go towards the wall. Don't do this. Don't do that. So Feyre was specifically only trained in staying away from the Fae, where Nesta was trained in how to be a housewife, classical dance, reading, writing, all of this stuff. But why was Feyre only specifically trained in to stay away with the Fae? It makes me think that's something about the third born child or the last child or something.
Yes. Okay, I was thinking too, like Rumpelstiltskin. The like one of the versions of Rumpelstiltskin is that, isn't it that you owe a child? You owe a child as like a bargain or whatever. But also, I don't know, hold on, Missy said maybe she was supposed to give Nesta to the Fae and she never did. Off of that, yes, well, let me read. I said my number one, so I didn't want to think about it constantly. Yes, she never answers her own mental questions, which all connects to the Persephone and Hades thing. But I really like the idea that she didn't give Nesta to the Fae when she was supposed to, because Whirls and Swirls, obviously, it's like a protective thing. And her dad, when she goes out, Feyre, and she brings back the wolf, and he's like, his face goes tight. He's like, Feyre, what is this? He knows
something.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so the was like only kind to the dad. So back to the Persephone and Hades thing. If you haven't, I think everyone in here probably has seen my post about it. But if you haven't, I just posted a long ass story about Persephone and Hades and how it connects to Rhys and Feyre. But what's funny is that the mom, Persephone's mom, warns her, don't drink anything, don't eat anything, don't go anywhere. And Allison Feyre's mom obviously give her those same warnings. So Missy, I think it was you and I that were talking about what if it's like this cycle of generations, similar to if any of you have read The Never King, it's about Peter Pan and the Darlings. And if you don't, I might have to give part of it away because I've kind of already leaned into how it compares. So if you want to read The Never King, close your ears. Basically, it's like a generational thing. So what if every generation in this line, a woman has to go into Prythian and sort of pay that debt off, whatever the debt is. Mm-hmm. And then my question is, when Rhys makes Feyre make the drop, does he do that as sort of like, okay, I'm tired of doing this every generation or so. Let's just make her immortal and I can suck the magic or suck, whatever.
Karen
For whatever greater purpose that is, even if it's like it's for his sustenance. I'm not saying he's the worst big bad. I don't have that belief. I think that he's a villain, and I love a villain. But there's definitely some intricacies to him and his character. But I think that he could be planning this because the worlds and the swirls are so often found in the Night Court, and they are word marks. Worlds and swirls are word marks. Confirmed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And it's like someone of high fae origin, a passerby. So who came by to protect these women? You say something because I know I'm going to go off on this.
Papa Archeron paid someone to put those on the doors. And we do know that Tamlin busts through them. So technically, they didn't protect them from the fae. But it could be a protection from something else that Papa Archeron isn't allowed to tell them, right? Like, I definitely think, and Halls, I know you said something above about SJM saying in interviews that like there's nothing more to Mama Archeron. Here's my opinion when our authors say stuff in interviews. This is an incomplete series. I don't believe anything that they say in interviews.
Didn't you say she's probably like intentionally lying? We were talking about this.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, why would you give away your plot twists? Like, of course she's gonna be like, oh no, there's nothing more. Oh no. But okay, here's what I did write down.
Right, and die. You're right. Okay, keep going. It's hard to talk and answer. I'm not trying to ignore you.
I know.
I'm trying to not interrupt, but keep going.
I think, along with the word marks things and the mates things, this will come back. Publishing order is important when it comes to SJM. So right before ACOTAR came out, Heir of Fire was released. Then ACOTAR. So in Heir of Fire, we already have seen false mate bonds. We've met Rowan. We've seen blood oaths. We've met Maeve. Then ACOTAR comes out, right? Then, hold on, where did I write this down? I have so many different notes.
I think so, Halls. I think so, but I don't know if I know yet.
What came after? Oh, then Queen of Shadows comes out after. So, like, she's setting this up. So here's my crack theory, I guess, that I'm getting into, is that the reason we're in Feyre's point of view, in first-person point of view, because it's the only series where it starts off in first-person point of view, is it's like being in first-person point of view from Rowan, someone from the cadre, right?
Yeah.
And Rhys, like you said, probably not the big bad, but he is a villain. So it would be like seeing something from their point of view. But, so we've seen the word marks on Rowan's face. Like, she's setting this up. You have to, like, keep in mind where she was in her mindset when she started writing ACOTAR.
Yeah.
Like, so we've seen the word marks. We've seen all of this stuff happening. So it's not unlikely.
Yeah. And I think what's weird also is that not Feyre, this is separate, but Selena can read the word marks. It's like a thing in that world that's known, like Nehemia and people in Iowa, they can read the word marks, but no one in Prythian or Crescent City can read the word marks. I mean, no one that we've seen read, which I think is weird. But I wanted to point out, I think this is so weird. I don't know if you can see because my light is obnoxiously bright. Right. Wait, hold on. Okay, this is the map that we care about, right? Yeah. Why is this not the whole map? Not one single thing on this page is labeled. Not one. Not one.
Oh, yeah.
We don't care about this. Also, if you've seen maps drawn of if you've seen this is like, I'm probably making this up. If you've seen maps drawn of Crescent City where people have like imagined the areas outside of it, that's what this looks like. I don't know if you know.
See, yeah, Missy. Yeah, I think it's all one world somehow.
And also the 8-pointed stars directly in the middle of the page.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting over here. I just wrote, why is it blank on this side? That doesn't make sense. You know me though. I get caught up on nothing. I get caught up on nothing. I think that was the way to disguise how many things we're seeing repeated in the world. Oh, yes, which I think is interesting because Prithian has always been like a balance of light and dark, whereas I've always said this, where like in Aurelia, dark is decidedly bad and light is decidedly good. But in Crescent City, we have the light, which is bad, and darkness, which is good, kind of. They're helpful. They're helping them, i.e. hell. And then in Prithian, it's a balance. We have people who are made to seem good, or we're supposed to have this good reaction to them, Reese, who does some good things but does some bad things, and he's light and dark. I think it's interesting, is all I'm saying, that there is this confusion between each of the three worlds, what each of these colors represent. Mm-hmm. Intentionally keeping it in the dark.
Paul says, does anyone think the guy carving the word marks could have been someone we know? Yep.
Yeah, first I thought it was Reese. Then I was thinking, oh, that's what I wanted to tell y'all. Let me get to my little, okay, wait. I have so many highlights from so many times going back in here. I was trying to keep a tally of how many times they said long forgotten gods. It's like every other paragraph. It's the Iron Age, if you were wondering, you guys. They don't have any gods, and they till the earth.
Do you think that's going to lead to her new series? What is it? The Something of the Gods?
A passing charlatan of high fae origin. Weird. Don't like that. Okay, wait. I wanted to read some of my little... If you have any, too. I'm just looking for some... okay, because I thought this was so crazy. Not that crazy. All right, so basically, this is page 2.
Yeah.
All right, so a couple paragraphs down, basically it says anything but fairies. So it says, in the 8 years we've been living in our village, only a 2-day journey from the immortal border. They're basically the very closest things, even though they're 2 days. We all know that. We've been spared an attack. For 8 years, they had been spared an attack, their village. Okay? It says, though traveling peddlers sometimes brought stories of distant border towns, so equal to them, which are left in splinters. These accounts, once rare, had in recent months become commonplace whisperings on everyday markets. So what that's telling me is that the other border towns rarely were kind of being attacked. Now it's very commonplace, and they're the only ones who haven't been attacked in 8 years, and it just happens to be the house with the worlds in this world, and the lady who gets come to be claimed. But it just seems like you haven't been attacked in 8 years because somebody's protecting you.
Or my also crack theory is that Reese has been planning on infiltrating them long before the story began.
Well, he's in darkness in every single thing that you do.
He sends her the vision to paint on the drawers. Before
we even, well, maybe on the drawers, but it's so funny. When she comes back from getting the wolf and she's getting closer to the house, the sun has already set. The skies are in like hues of blue, and there's like the buttery light coming out from the cottage. But as she gets closer to the threshold, even with the buttery light, even with the light coming from the darkness, it goes to complete blackness. Mm-hmm. Every time I hear that, I'm like, Reese is there. He's looming. Something's going on. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm ignoring something. Let's see. Why does their village never get attacked? Yeah, that's weird. I don't buy that. Kay said, Vaughn, is that you? Hi, Kay. Long forgotten character, I know. She forgot. Let's see. Maeve had that weird mate seer thing. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, is that how she...
Because she knew Aelin was coming, and that's how she...
Which is weird because the same goes for the Princes of Hell. How did they know? Bryce is like, how did you know that I would be coming? That I would be coming up? Okay. Maybe he couldn't get in because of the word marks. Oh, you mean Reese? Yeah, because in the stories of Hades and Persephone, and if the mom is giving her the warnings, if it's been a generational thing that's been happening over time, They would have paid someone. The dad would have known. Just like you said, maybe she broke a bargain where she was supposed to go back for the 6 months for the pomegranate. She was supposed to go back to Hades, Greece, whatever, maybe his ancestor. She broke that bargain. She dies.
Mm-hmm.
And
why was Reese so hell-bent on getting Feyre to make that bargain with him? I mean, he literally twisted a bone in her arm to be like, you're gonna make this bargain to make you mine. Like, I know we're way jumping ahead.
Yeah, I know, it's so hard.
I know.
Maybe
Okay, wait, I did just see some like little fun things before, like, to step out of some seriousness that I found that I had highlighted. So just little like Easter eggs, like literally right in the very beginning, it says something like praying that they'd last until spring. And I was like, oh, she's like, did you? She's going to spring court. Yeah. And then there's some more serious ones, but I wanted to like skip to one that's not so serious. It was at the end of chapter 1 when she's talking about, was it the end of chapter 1? Oh no, the end of chapter 1 after she, gets the wolf, and it says his remaining golden eye now stared at the snow-heavy sky. Is it not giving Lucian? His remaining golden eye.
Yeah. And what's weird is that he was still moving after the arrow was back to the goose feathers at the end of the arrow, all the way through. That's crazy. That was crazy to me too. Okay. Also, Feyre, there is a lot of like, Feyre doesn't hunt with a bow and arrow. She does. She's been hunting with a bow and arrow for at least 5 years, if not 8. But she also, Miss tells us. I don't know if she's meaning like I was hunting or I was able to hunt before, and then 5 years ago I started hunting for the family. But she says these past 8 years that I've been hunting in the woods, and then the next page. She says, a couple pages, she says, it says basically after their mom died or after they lost their fortune, it says 5 years ago on page 12, when the money was well and truly gone, he hadn't argued when I announced I was going hunting. So is it 5 years or 8? Obviously that's weird. But the point is, also, she draws her bow. It's like I draw my bow with instinct. It was instinct to draw my bow. I think it's like made to seem like she doesn't hunt or that she's like not useful, and she definitely is. And it's also, I think it's like kind of confusing because she says when she's leaving to her dad, like, go learn how to snare from Isaac. Yeah, I taught him. But I think that point was just to be said, like, I'm telling you what to do as a beginning hunter to protect yourself, and snares are the easiest way to do it. So I just feel like that's kind of taken to like Feyre doesn't hunt. She's the only reason that they're surviving. And she says that, I mean, again, that's her perspective, but
I feel like people like to discount it once we get to Silver Flames because now we're more sympathetic towards Nesta, and then it's like now you're seeing it in a different perspective from Nesta's, but it's like, okay, no, she still was providing their family with food. Like, we can't not.
And like, we have to find a middle between two.
Yeah, like, you got to give her flowers there at least. And she was making the money. Like.
Yeah, and what's weird is that she addresses it in a way that's like, I am going to do this. And she's saying it to them. I'm going to decide if we have this. I'm going to take it to this. I'm going to do that. Part of it is like her saying, and they're not even noticing me. They're not even noticing that I'm saying, putting this responsibility on myself. But the other part of it is that they're not saying, it's not your money, it's not your this. They're like, can I have my money, please? Like, they're lining up and asking her.
But Nesta does notice, because she says, like, you walk around here barking orders at everyone, and one day, you know. Yeah, so it's like, Feyre thinks they don't notice, but they do. So again, that's like our perspective, like being in her perspective.
I think those are her feelings on her perspective can be accurate to say that she feels what's the word?
Well, she feels left out.
Unrecognized. Yeah, I just feel like she's feeling recognized for something she feels obligated to do. But okay, the mercenary and Feyre's dad. So on page 12, 1, 2, 3 paragraphs down, my father's ruined leg. In the middle of it, it says, sorry, I have so many freaking tabs in the way. The cold of the rain or a change in temperature always aggravated the vicious, twisted wounds around his knee. And then we have when she goes to talk to the mercenary on page 29, a couple of paragraphs down. The mercenary is showing her wounds from a time that she was attacked by another fairy, and it says, the muscled forearm flecked with gruesome, not vicious, twisted scars. And then it says, the arc of them so similar to, and she cuts herself off. She's comparing this to her father's wound. What? Mm-hmm. And what's interesting, her father's
I
wound.
love the crack theory that it's either Reese or another Fae Reese.
That's a good idea.
Put them in this situation. He bankrupted. He sunk the ships. He tanked them to get them close to the wall to set them up to be in this situation to where he could get her. Because he knows about the curse. The curse has been going on for 50 years. He knows Tamlin is sending his people over to try to entice someone to kill the wolf to bring over, right? And Reese at this point is working with Amarantha for her, or with her. I think he's setting the whole situation up. Or someone has. Maybe it's not Reese, but it would make the most sense if it were Reese.
Yeah. I feel like I don't feel like he was working with Amarantha, but I feel like in not the way that it's sort of painted out, usually me personally, this is how I read the story. I don't feel like it is necessarily him doing everything to be like a nasty. I feel like Amarantha to me is like nasty and snarly and horrific. I don't feel like that from Reese. I feel like he could have been plotting and planning, but I personally don't feel that way. I mean, everyone can feel it that their own way, but I do think that it could be a really good idea that it could be someone who is also Fae. But what's interesting is if that were to be Reese, she gives her advice. She helps her. She says, I'm going to give you more money to help take care of you. And she says, I wouldn't go this far out. I wouldn't do all of these things. So if the agenda for Reese is to lure her out, the mercenary is sort of doing the opposite of that. So I do think it's a very interesting idea. She also has the hurt leg with the black veins, which I wonder, I can't remember if anyone in here can remember, did Bryce have black veins when she was bit by the Crystallos?
Someone did say something about the Crystallos. It made me think of Caltaine.
With that, yeah.
Her infection from the Wordstone.
The word marks, because she did have black rippling things. Kay hung up on Reese being the big bad and plotting all this keeps us from looking further. I do think that there is an aspect of the conversation that keeps us from looking forward because we get caught up on like, is he good or bad? And then if you have any judgment on if he's good or bad, I can't take your perspective seriously, which Megan and I, at least I'm not in that mindset. This is how I feel about it. I'm sure this is how Megan feels in her own way, but I don't care what you think about Reese. You guys can think about him any way you like. But I do think it's interesting from the perspective of like plotting and planning from my perspective doesn't have to necessarily mean evil. And, evil is a subjective term. So yes. I just think it is interesting. And he is a main character that is meant to have complexities that are meant to be discussed. As long as we can keep it within a wheelhouse of like building fantasy and not Reese is this, and if you align with him, then you're this. I don't like associating like intellect.
If we're going to call him morally gray, then there has to be a gray area as far as how we view him as well.
Exactly. And I feel like that is also pertaining to the genre of the story. If this isn't a genre written morally gray, or like a dark romance genre, and people will argue that to the death. So I get it, Kay. I get what you're saying. We talked about this before. That's where it becomes not fun, but I don't think this group, I don't think we're trying to, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to paint a picture of like, this guy's a piece of shit, but it is something that's like, if we only look at it from a fairy tale, then we don't get the cool puzzle pieces, because the cool puzzle pieces could be that, like, I love Maeve. I love her complex character. I think that she's like my favorite character. And she's the worst. And I don't even think Reese is like on her line. I just feel like they are very, I feel like, and I'll take a break because I know I'm gabbing, but
No.
I feel like sometimes we're made to, it's like the beginning of a criminal, like Law and Order. It's like who we think is the that's not who it is. You know what I mean? So I think that going back through and reading and getting little bits of it can give you more information than just like dark equals bad. World of darkness equals bad. I just think that that's very like simple, thinking. So it's just complexities.
I love that you said Maeve is your favorite character, because so many people's favorite argument for Reese not being evil is Reese is SJM's favorite character. And it's like, you do know your favorite character can be evil, right? Like, I think it would make it more complex. I don't think Reese is the I think that would shock people if he ended up being a bad or a big bad, which I love. I want that to happen. I feel like she's laid the groundwork, and it would be diabolical in like the best way.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
That's another reason why I wanted to do the reread, because I want, like, when I first read it, first of all, I did audiobook, and so I was listening for vibes. Like, I was.
I didn't, but I was reading for vibes too.
Like I was on maternity leave, and I was like, oh, I've heard this is good, and then it just went addiction from there.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, I'm actually like physically eyeballs on the page, like want to see. And now that I've finished all 3 series, I honestly feel like it took finishing Throne of Glass for me to obviously see all of the things. Like, right here that I have highlighted, which kind of brings us back to Mama Archeron, is the Ironwood bed, which is a huge thing for the Iron Teeth Witches. That's what their brooms are made out of. Why is it such a big deal? Like, Feyre talks about that Ironwood bed, specifically Ironwood, so many times. That it was valued by their mother. It was valued by them. They were born in it. Their mother died in it. She never painted it. Like, she painted the rest of the house.
Yeah, she didn't touch it, which is so weird. Oh my gosh. And we got to get back in, because I know we're all over the place. This is our first one. We're excited.
I know.
But, hold on. I wanted to answer. Sorry, Missy said, Kay said, everyone seems to be stuck on Reese. I agree. I think that, I agree. There was 3 Furies. Maybe Mercenary is a sister to Fury. That's a cool idea. I really like that. And she's like a mountain of a woman. I think she's talked about so specifically that it would be cool to bring her back. I think it would be cool. I think Reese is being bossed around by the Princes of Hell. I think Reese is the 6th Prince of Hell. I think he's the Prince of the Abyss. There's so much language that says Abyss, his powers in Abyss. I just think he's the 6th Prince. But that's just me. I need to make a video. He's valued as evil or irredeemable. Manon. And even Manon, like, eats people. She's out here tormenting and just decapitating. I don't know if she's decapitating. I can't speak tonight. But she is slaughtering people, and we love her. So, I do think, though, that
makes me think of Jennifer's Body.
I haven't seen that movie. That was Megan Fox.
Killing boys.
The question of what is good and what is bad. Yes. Rereading is fun. People on both sides want more from him. I would love for him to be one of the princes. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I think Reese knows so much more. I think we are so in the dark with Reese. I think he's, again, these are crack theories, but I think he's older than he says he is. I think he knows more. I see so many similarities between him and Maeve, and we know he's a Daemati.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Maeve literally Daemati'd her in all of Dornell.
Yes, I agree. But I do think that they say that there are however many. I mean, it's not only him. He says that it's rare, but it's a thing. So I do agree that they're...
But we know he can Daemati like Maeve, because he Daemati'd everyone from under the mountain to forget about Valaris.
But also, so did his forefathers. Because it was like, the reason they didn't want
So
the
he
humans
says.
is because, well, yeah, so he says, obviously.
And we only know what
But I
Feyre.
will say that there is a degree of, I would say that I trust Amryn less than I trust Reese. And I trust Moore less than I trust Reese. I feel like Moore has her own hidden agenda, but some things that Amryn says genuinely shocks Reese. Genuinely, he's like, the way that it's described is like, that happened? Is that true? Is that so? And it's in third person perspective books. It's in Silver Flames. It's in the Crescent City books. I guess the second one and the third one, both of them, when he is told things by Amryn, when he's like, do we? And he's shocked by it. So I'm not denying that he could be.
Yeah.
He says he is. But I do think that there is something to be said for like the general shock and like alarm that he shows when he learns some things.
She's also 15,000 years old and not from that world. So.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a compliment to Reese's character. Oh, yeah, I read that earlier. Sorry, I just didn't see. Yeah, Manon did break the cycle. My point was just that she was like physically actually eating people. And we haven't seen Reese do that. And my point is that she could overcome. We've all forgiven her and we've all loved her beyond that. I'm not saying that Reese is at that point because he hasn't atoned, but it's possible.
I'm excited to just see where his story goes. I know we haven't even met him yet. We're reading chapters 1 through 5, but
I know. Okay, wait. So
are.
I need to go back, but I know it's so fun to talk about it. I think he's been the High Lord the whole time, so that the High Lord wanted her to be High Lady. Yes, that's such a good point. And what's so interesting is that he was the High Lord of Night, not the High Lord of the Night Court, which I think is interesting. That's interesting to me. What do you mean the High Lord of Night? That's like a god. And also, I'm skipping. I'm skipping to a later book. But, sorry, I get so distracted by the writing, the chat.
I know it's hard to like keep track of both.
But yeah, if he has been the High Lord the whole time, then he's been there for a very long time. There's shock and Amryn is sus, but she's changed. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait till we get later and we actually need to go through our stuff. Let me read my freaking notes.
I know. I'm trying to see if there's.
She says that she eventually becomes the wife to the High Lord of Night's son, and then who becomes the High Lord of Night, and then when she has a son, the babe like screamed and it was the sound of night. But it's not Night Court at first. Maybe it definitely changes. She says that they divide it into courts, but they don't say High Lord of the Night Court, which I just think is interesting because it obviously there's a lot of stemming from gods. Also, if you are into like the Age of Men, the 5 ages of men, which are the Golden Age, which represent the Dagon and the Asteri. And I wrote this down actually somewhere in all my notes. So it's the Ages of Man. So the Golden Age is in this story would be with the Daglin and the Fae, because obviously there's so much referencing to gold in regard to the Daglin, especially with the Trove. And the Crystal Palace, all the gates, they have gold little plaques on them. Then there's the Silver Age of Man, which is when there's Fae who pray to the gods, which in Prythian would be when they mention before the war, the Fae had the humans build temples to their feral gods. And we know that the first gods included the Carver. And then therefore that includes his siblings. So all 3 of the death gods were part of the pantheon of gods that were praised in Prythian. Now, does that include the Daglin? I kind of think so. I feel like it's just a bunch of different beings that are more powerful than them. As he said, girl. But then the Iron Age is where they're living now. So the Iron Age in mythology is when people, humans, mortals, have to tend the land by themselves, which is what it says. Feyre is basically talking about how it took the mortal queens making the treaty to separate that, and then basically they had to tend the lands by themselves, and it was really difficult for them. And that's what the Iron Age is: man tending the lands, and there are no gods. And
Okay, that's also hilarious too because they use iron as a way to ward off the fairies. And then also mention of the ironwood bed.
The cauldron is made of blackest iron.
Yeah, like what?
In the Book of Breathings is made from the same molten ore. The iron plates with the metal rings, gold, silver, and bronze. The rings that hold the Book of Breathings together are gold, silver, and bronze. Don't get me on a tangent.
Dude, there's so many layers. Like I can't even. And then I'm trying to look through my highlights of all the things that I've highlighted.
I agree, Di.
I feel like I keep. Okay, let's talk about the Children of the Blessings. Okay, I did have something highlighted there. What they were wearing.
Oh, there's the pale blue robes.
Yes, it reminded me of Ianthe.
Yes, and the priestesses in Throne of Glass. They wear dark blue robes, but it's the same.
Mm-hmm. Where are they at? Oh, yeah. Hold on, that was before.
The Wordstone. I forget what we were talking about. I have ADHD, y'all, so
I know.
don't judge me.
I'm like looking through all my highlights. Like I have one here for Nesta. It says a queen without a throne. It's the first time we've seen her called a queen, right in chapter 3.
Yes.
Like she's literally been trained to be a queen so much so that Feyre knows that. And then later, she's literally called a queen multiple times.
Oh, yeah, Queen of Queens.
Yeah.
While you're looking for that, did you notice how many times Feyre pushed down her anger? Like, I highlighted it in a separate color. I didn't let the sting and ache show. Swallowing the words, I wanted to bark at her. My jaw clenched. I bit down. She says, trying to keep from growling, digging down deep to bury my fury. I stood from the table, fingers curling into fists, but there was nowhere in our room to run. She's an angry girl.
She is.
She's burying some feelings and emotions, and I think she really does hold her. I feel like that's also why she feels. I'll get off of it, but I feel like that's also why she feels some type of way about Nesta, because she's like, Nesta and I are alike in the fact that we can take care of ourselves, but also Nesta lets her anger fly, and I'm similar to Feyre in that I can be very like, don't fuck with me, but when it comes to people that I love, I will hold back for the sake of my relationship with them, and it pisses me off when they don't do that. So I can just relate to that is all I'm saying. I could see how if she's pushing her, it doesn't mean that she's better than Nesta, but I could see how that dynamic is frustrating. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, completely.
The cauldron, yes, Halls, sorry, I didn't know what you were talking about earlier, but the 3 feet that were cleaved from the cauldron, the 3 word stones, also the cauldron was broken in Prythian, the word gate was broken in Throne of Glass, and the horn was broken in Crescent City, which is not like the word of Crescent City. It was made in Prythian. Why does it have anything to do with the world of Midgard? I'm off topic, as usual.
I feel like I always want to go back to Crescent City because it's my favorite.
I love Crescent City. I love it so much. Okay, sorry, you were looking for the Children of the Blessed. Did you find it?
Okay, so I found that. That just reminded me of Ianthe. But then I forgot right after that, I go to the mercenary because I feel like there are people, someone said, like, that we've seen before. Not necessarily, obviously, in this series, but in other series. Like, when we're talking about the mercenary, when it, like, describes her thick, dark hair, shorn to her chin, her tan face, hewn of granite, her black eyes, interesting eyes, not just one shade of black. And, like, she goes in these. It makes me think of the Shadow Twins.
Ooh. Do they have eyes like that?
I need to go back and look at their description, but I know for a fact they have really dark hair, and she knows all this stuff. Like, like this mercenary, like, knows what's going on, right? And that was like the Shadow Twins' job within the witches, right?
Oh, wait. I just got so confused. You're talking about the witches?
Yes.
There's the murder twins, the shadow murder twins in Crescent City, and there's the other twins,
From the
Dagden,
13.
Dagden. What are their names in ACOTAR? They work with Highburn. What are their names?
Oh, the
It's like
yeah.
Bren.
There's J Maudie also.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then there's the twins from
I
the
was off.
13.
I was thinking of somebody else. So
That's crazy though that you just made that connection that there's that many twins that like do the same thing.
yeah, and there's also the Ravens, the twin Ravens, which are both in ACOTAR.
Okay.
Dalvin. I knew that was Brannig, wasn't it? Brannig. See,
because I was
right on
thinking about
right on my sense of humor. You know, if you watch my videos, sometimes you just got to make up the rest of the word.
yeah. I was thinking of the twins from the
Yes, they dye
13.
their hair. You're right, Alls. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, because when they did the what's it called when they like explode? I'm like blinking. But the light was white
Where? I
when
wasn't.
they all died. When the 13.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that theory that they actually didn't die.
That they photo hopped because did you hear? I mean, I always ramble. Vesta, the name Vesta in mythology, is the same as Hestia, which is the matriarch of the Enidor family in Crescent City. And both of their names mean the sacred flame of the hearth, which is a Kraken thing. But you know, they all come from witches. But
And SJM says she doesn't repeat names. Like
she's a liar. I'm sorry.
I don't know. No, I mean
Cressida. She repeated Cressida, which is like such a unique name. And one of them is a woman of color, and one of them is a witch, Blackbeak, the Blue Blood matron. I agree with you that you're right. She doesn't, and I think that is a very important point. But it pisses me off that she says she forgot that she used the name Cressida. I've never heard of that name outside of this book or these books. Have you?
No, but I don't even know who that is.
And she wrote, if you look, the books were published like right after each other. So I'm like, what do you mean you forgot? That's weird. So, but you're right. I agree with you otherwise. But that name pisses me off.
I don't even remember who that is, which is horrible.
Cressida is Tarquin's sister. Sister cousin. Y'all know it. It's one of them. So Cressida is Tarquin's sister when they go to the summer court, and then Cressida Blueblood is the Blueblood matron.
Okay.
So it's just like that's a very unique name. It's spelled very weird. It's not even spelled like how Kay said. It's Cresseida. It's very specific to not remember. But I agree. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. That bothers me when she did that.
I didn't even remember that. So, but she says that if she reuses the name, that they're the same person. And I feel like it was in an interview, she was saying that it was like someone was asking about the 13. So it seemed like it was in regards to that, where she was like kind of hinting like, But again, incomplete series. Don't believe anything she says until we find out.
Liar, liar, plans for hire.
Literally.
Hi, JC Petty. Hey, girl. I wish I knew your first name. Don't you hate when you only know people's screen names?
Briar.
Yes. Is it JC? I feel like that might make sense now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, also there is. Well, you've seen my Brandon theory. You know, I think Brandon is Brandon, but I agree. I think that it's the Briar one. Isn't there another one? Cormac. She reuses Cormac too. Tasha. There we go. Hi, Tasha.
Yeah, we should start. I feel like I need a list of so many things. A list of names that are reused. A list of this. A list of that. Like, Jesus Christ. I just need to reread the books, but then by the time I start rereading it, I forget the things from the other books. Like,
I know. I think that's why we just get to keep rereading.
I know.
Okay, so I wanted to.
Ooh, I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a foreshadowing of Resand. It was in chapter 3. I don't know how far in because I'm on Kindle. mine says page 33, but it says when she's like talking about Prithian and like all of the stuff that they've been told, she says one of the high fae could turn your bones to dust from 100 yards away. Not that my sisters or I had ever seen it. When Reese turns everyone to mist,
Yeah. I can't
like
believe
that's Rysand. Like they're
she does such weird foreshadowing when they're in the market. She says, oh well, first of all, when the children of the blessed come up to, I need to read that, but I don't want to get distracted because I will forget my train of thought. Sorry, hold on. Oh, the children of the blessed, they say, may the immortal light shine upon these sisters, and it shines upon all three of them. I love the foreshadowing. They all become immortal, so cute. And then, oh wait, here we go. This is Nesta's foreshadowing. This is page 24, at the very top of the page. Oh, you're reading from the Kindle, so I don't know. Let's see what chapter.
I know.
Chapter 3. It says that they kind of near where you were. So it says, I never encountered the cruel human-looking high fae who ruled Prithian itself, or the fairies who occupied their lands, with their scales and wings, and long, spindly arms that could drag you deep, deep beneath the surface of a forgotten pond. Hello, Kelby and Nesta. I love that. She just told Nesta's whole story in just a little blip. I think that's so cute.
I know. I feel like there was a lot of foreshadowing that I was trying to like highlight, and then now we've just gabbed, and I've like lost my,
Yeah, well, I think it's so.
Oh,
go ahead.
I did want to know. Okay, so when we get to chapter 4, right, when Tamlin like busts down the door and he's screaming murderers, how did he know? How did he know it was Feyre? Like, how did he know where to go? How did he know? Like, was it the mercenary? Because she's the one who bought the fur, right?
Yeah, and I actually don't remember later. I know they talk about how like it was planned and he sent Andres out. But
yeah,
you're right, because on the second page of that chapter, on chapter 34, or page 34, no, page 36, when he's saying like who killed the wolf, it says he blinked and glanced at my sisters, then back at me, at my thinness, no doubt seeing only frailness instead. Surely you lie to save them. And then a little while later, he's sniffing them. He's asked her, and she's like, no, it's me. And he's like leaning back over here, and he's sniffing them. He's like scenting something. I found that to be so weird because he says, it's written here somewhere, but he's later when Amarantha meets Feyre in Under the Mountain, she laughs at Tamlin because she's like, you brought me one human? Like, that's so funny. And then she laughs and she's like, you actually like made this human fall in love with you. You didn't just bring me humans to break the curse. Unless that's what the children of the blessed are talking about when they say, just a month ago, my cousin, she went across. Like, have they been recruiting humans this whole time trying to break the curse? But it's just weird to me that he's like sniffing.
But it couldn't be them because it has, the part of the curse is it has to be someone who hates fate, who hates fairies.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Oh, yeah. That's so weird. Oh, wait, but we have comments. Oh, let's see. Hold on.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Just Dannon in the glass. Ooh, I don't remember. When is that, Missy? Tell me what book that's in. Cormac is their one in Autumn Court in Avalon's Heir. Cormac is the Avalon's Heir, and then the other Cormac is in Throne of Glass. He's an assassin, right? Am I thinking of someone else? I think Cormac is like, remember when Saelin, I don't remember which version she was. She is like in a bar somewhere and like she references like a very short statured assassin. Do you remember coming up to her? And I believe that's who Cormac is. Cormac, whatever. I don't think he's like a big player.
I don't remember. And with Throne of Glass, I did dual, like physical and audio. So sometimes just,
Mates, but he still says the tree told him where to go.
But
Mm.
like, how would the treaty tell him where to go?
Yeah,
And then we know that he lies about what the treaty
yes.
says anyway.
Yeah, because he's
When
lying about the treaty being like you can trade a life. Isn't that a lie? I don't remember.
yeah,
But
that's a
as of
lie.
right now, that's what he says, and she's like, I never read that part.
Yeah, because it's a lie, and he admits later that it is a lie. That wasn't the treat. They were trying to break the curse, but he couldn't talk about the curse because that's part of the curse.
Yes. Yes. Tasha, yes, I think that's when she had red hair. And be careful on those damn wikis because I think we talked about this before, Tasha. Usually they are right, but I go on there sometimes and I gotta log in and retype it out sometimes because anybody
Yeah.
can go in there and write stuff, but it's wrong sometimes. I'm like, y'all,
That's why I always use it
do
as
better.
reference when I go and look.
Yeah.
Okay, so while we're on the topic of like him busting in, this
Mhm.
makes me think about okay, I highlighted like fairies can't lie. I guess they can. So I don't know what page it is, but we're in chapter 4. On Kindle, it's 44. It says, "Let me make this clear for you, girl. You can either come live at my home in Prithian, offer your life for the wolves in that way, or you can walk outside right now to be shredded to ribbons. Your choice." And then, she decides to go with him. Is this her first bargain? Did she make a bargain with Tamlin?
What page is that? What page is that? Here, say that. I want to hear that again. Hold on.
Let's see if I can find it in here. It's in chapter 4. Live where? It's towards the end, right? I think it's in chapter 4.
What was the quote? What was it again that he said?
Yeah, so he says, when they're like talking about the loophole, she said, "You didn't need to mention the loophole."
Oh yeah. I remember.
And then he's responding, "Let me make this clear for you, girl. You can either come live at my home in Prithian, offer your life for the wolves in that way, or you can walk outside right now and be shredded to ribbons. Your choice." And then her father begs, and then later she just says, or she asks when, and he says now. And then when she follows him, is that her agreeing to a bargain with him?
Oh.
Because we know that only in the night court are bargains sealed with a tattoo. That's the only place. So has she agreed to her first Fae bargain that she's going to live with him on his land? So it kind of makes me
live with him, live with him.
live on my I have lands. So then it makes me wonder if that bargain and eventually the bargain with Reese are fighting each other because she's supposed to be living in Springcourt, right? And then she's supposed to be living in Night Court with him when she agrees to be Reese's. That's the bargain. She's his. It's not just 1 week out of every month. She's his.
Yeah.
But then when she brings Reese back to life or begs them all and he says, "Be happy," is that him ending the bargain of her having to live in the Spring Court? Is that him like releasing her?
That's a good point because people ask if that is a bargain in itself because they're like, she's like, whatever, I'll do anything.
Because then after that, she's totally different, right? Like,
oh my gosh, wait. Yes. I reposted a video today. This girl made a video saying that Lucian is now the High Lord of the Supreme Court. Did you see that?
no.
Because I don't. When. What you're talking about, when they revive Reese and he comes and revives Reese, that is before or after? That's after. Wait, when is it that there's the Kalanmai right that Reese does not Tasha, what is the Kalanmai right that Reese that Tamlin does not participate in and Lucian participates in? Whenever that was, I think that was before Reese dies. My point is, there's a girl who made a video. I reposted it today. She basically says that Kalanmai, the whole point of Kalanmai is that, they do the whole like stag, the hunter, and the maiden, and he goes and hunts the stag, and then he comes back and he like does whatever with the maiden, and that's like what rejuvenates the magic in the land, and it's like the
Yeah.
spring force thing that they have to rejuvenate. But when Feyre's gone, he doesn't do that ritual. He passes it on to Lucian, who does the ritual, who does the whole like maiden thing with Ianthe. So she's kind of making a point that the magic of the land changes over to Lucian by like how Fey rite of magic works. The video is, she does a very good job. I wish I could remember her
I have
name.
to watch it because the land chooses the High Lord.
Yeah, it's in my repost. She did a very good job. I would definitely recommend following her and looking at her page. If someone can go onto my repost and tell me her name so that I can shout her out, and then you guys can like follow her. I think that she has a really great page. But if not, it's okay. Just go look at my repost. And she has brown hair. She's just sitting in front of a bookshelf. Anyway, I just thought it was a really great video. I loved it. But I think that that's really interesting because there is that whole question of, was that a bargain with Tamlin when she's like, please, I'll do anything. And he's like, be happy. Is that the bargain? Or like you said, is at the end of the bargain.
Yeah, I think the whole time I was reading that, after like knowing what we know, I was like, oh, I think this is her first bargain because she goes with him. She could have said no. She didn't. I mean, technically she didn't know she could have, but she could have just been like, nope. Like,
yeah,
not gonna go.
Yeah, and she would have been killed.
And then after Reese is brought back and he says to be happy, and I know some people think that that's the bargain for her to be like, and then she's under some kind of weird spell, but she's completely different. She's completely different after that. So it's like, maybe that's her being released from the Spring Court, from having to live in the Spring Court. And now she's whatever she is, truly under just Reese's bargain, because she's still under his bargain. She's made so many bargains with Reese, it's ridiculous.
Well, I think it's what's so interesting. Well, and I know I'm going to get off track, so I want to try not to, but that's why I think it's so crazy that he definitely did the bargain to tether to her, but we'll have to explore that later. I know I can ramble forever. Let me go back to some chats here. Let me fire up my lore map, Missy said. So funny. Kay said earlier when someone was asking about the Crystallis venom, it's described as clear venom and silvery slime. I do remember that because it's like a blind thing way down deep in there. However, do we know if it said that her wound was discolored specifically? Like, did the wound? I don't know. I'm not trying to give you a homework assignment, Kay, but if you can see, or if anyone can see, if Bryce's wound was described as being discolored, because I just find it interesting that she has this that the mercenary has this limp in her leg that is marked by this blackening of the veins. What show is that from where they have black veins? I cannot remember. I'm thinking of something else. Okay, Tasha said she uses the term silver to reference glistening. Yes, tears are referenced as silver. When she goes back to the court after pretending to be healed from Reese's spell. I forget what we were talking about. Do you know?
When she goes back to
I'm sorry, Tasha. I forget what that was about.
I know. I can't remember what we were talking about. We're on so many tangents.
I know. This is still fun. I don't even care if it's organized. It's fun.
I know. And then the cause of Tamlin's heart was no longer stone, and now we have Elaine being all creepy delusion saying, I can hear your heart through the stone.
Yes, that was the other part of the message. Thank you, Tasha. She was saying that, remember Elaine was like, I can hear your heart beating through the stone. And she's talking about Lucian when she's in the House of Wind. That's what the girl basically compares it to. She's like, it's now passed over to Lucian. I don't exactly know.
I know a lot of people say that they think that's because Tamlin is actually Elaine's mate and it's not actually Lucian and all this stuff. Which I love that crap theory.
That's what she connects back to in the story, which is she says, the girl in the video that we're talking about, she says a lot of people think that Elaine is Tamlin's mate because of all of these all this imagery that we see. But then she explains this sort of switch of power and how her mate is already Lucian, but that it is doubled down being Lucian because he is the High Lord of the Spring Court, is what she claims. But I thought it was just really
But
interesting.
I don't think, even if it switched power, it wouldn't make his heart of stone because that was Tamlin's curse specifically.
Oh yeah. No, I think she was comparing the imagery of the change of power to him being referenced as having a heart of stone. I don't think that she was saying, maybe she was. I wasn't assuming that. It only talks about how ugly the wound is because of staples, but no color. I'll keep checking. Thank you, Kay. When Lucian did the raid, yes, this was about Lucian's timeline. Yeah.
All right, let's see. What do we have?
I feel like I probably should look at the stuff I wrote down instead of just trying to skim through the pages.
I know. Okay, let's. Oh, okay. I thought this was really, really interesting. Let me just grab my train of thought. I have highlighted Persephone's story.
Okay, the comments are cracking me up. She said that was about Lucian at Calamari. Tasha, you couldn't let it slide, could you? I read straight past it. Okay, sorry. Keep going. The Supreme Court. I'm dead.
Okay, I am confused. Okay, not confused, but this is like concerning to me. At the very end of, was this chapter 4? Yeah, at the very end of chapter 4, whenever she's leaving, right? And she actually first of all, I have that she shows that she cares about Nesta because she's like, don't marry Tomas.
I wrote that same thing. I wrote that
not
down.
because of like jealousy, but it's like his family's known for abuse. But then later, just like 2 paragraphs down, her father, right? Like he starts talking to her and he's like, you were always too good for here, Feyre. Too good for us, too good for everyone. If you ever escape, ever convince them that you've paid the debt, don't return. Don't ever come back. Why?
I know, I thought that was so weird too. Especially how it's made to seem that he dotes on Elaine, but that's Feyre's perspective that he dotes on Elaine. It seems like Feyre is like his golden child. Not golden child, I wouldn't say that because he doesn't take care of any of them.
But it makes me think that
she's part of something. I agree. I do think that there is something in the water that
the Persephone. It's bringing back the Persephone story. Their mom knew something. There was something going on.
He knows almost that like it's like he knows that she's going to be claimed.
Yeah.
Like someone's going to come claim her. The time has come. He's got like his face in a tight line. It's like when he sees the wolf pout and he's like, his face goes tight. It's like he knows that the time has come.
Yeah.
And it even says that like he got like an atypical boost of strength. It says, as she's getting ready to leave, it says Feyre, this is after he tried to talk to Feyre before she leaves, and Tamlin like growls at them and scares them. But then he says, Feyre, my father said, his fingers trembled as he grasped my gloved hands. His eyes became clearer and bolder than they'd ever seen, just like right before that part that you said. He's like confident, which is something that he's not.
And someone said in the comments earlier, they think that he's under some kind of spell, which makes me think that maybe it's some kind of like bargain from Mama Artron, and he's included in it. Like, yeah, his eyes cleared, and he's like, I got to get this out while I can, while I'm cleared. I have to tell you. Right. Also, right after that, there is a little foreshadowing for Rhysand. It says, beyond the beast was just a shadow.
I have that too. Every time I see shadow, I'm like, Oh, also, the beginning of chapter 5, I have a note, Tamlin, Hades. Not necessarily is he Hades, but he's doing this, every step toward the line of trees was too swift, too light, too soon, carrying me to whatever torment and misery awaited. And that is just mimicking the story of Persephone on that trail to the underworld. And so I was sort of thinking, maybe is the Night Court not the underworld, but all of Prythian? Maybe is crossing over the rift, the northern rift of the gate. How many times do they call the holes in the wall a rift? And it says, it's big enough. Oh, it's right here, ironically. Rifts in the warded wall separating our lands, holes big enough for those lethal creatures to slip into our territory and amuse themselves. It's giving Northern Rift. It's giving help.
Mm-hmm.
Is the underworld Prithian? I think so.
And yeah, in general, just Prithian in general. Oh, I also have like a little foreshadowing thing, like right in the beginning of chapter 5, maybe on the second page. It says, talking about like the knowledge was the reason we'd ever survived against the High Fae during the ancient uprising, a secret betrayed by one of their own.
I have
Durian?
that Who?
Durian?
I was thinking, well, no.
I mean, he's not a Fae, but his lover.
Well, yes, but he loved Miriam, who was human.
Oh.
Or no, she was a bird, right? No, she was human. She was human. But Clithia, Amarantha's sister, he like pretended to love.
Okay, that's who I was
I
thinking
think
of.
they're talking about an actual Fae. Personally, I always thought Dad didn't want that life for Favor, and he suspected what his wife made a vow. I agree. Under the castle in TOD, there's Time's Rift. Yes, and yes, the gargoyles. I'm on a hunt with that same stuff, Diet. We are always on the same page, girlfriend. We are aligned. The universe has us lined up. So Tamlin's eyes, by the way, were green and flecked with amber. Gold flecks. Sorry to tell you. Also, in Throne of Glass, when they reference the gods, the 12 floaty figures, okay, and they're referencing them based off of like their markers, their indicators, not their names. It's like the one made of fire and ash, the one made of steel and arrows, the one made of, whatever. So the steel and arrows is Deanna, okay, and obviously we know that because she has dialogue, but that's also indicators of like the goddess that she is. So twice, Nesta is referred to the steel in her look or her veins when she's like approaching or doing something in just the first 5 chapters. So I think it's funny because she is meant to become the embodiment of Deanna. And when this is like future later, when she goes into the cauldron, steel is forged in her bones. She is made to be Deanna and like made in her image from the very beginning, from the first 5 chapters. So I thought that was so interesting, all of the steel references. I don't think there was any color in the scar. We never discussed it, but the Crystallis venom might indeed be still in her leg. Yeah, you're right, because if it was, they would have noticed a big black veiny bastard. So
then do you want to hear my
you know what I meant. I did not mean
my
that.
track here notes about Nesta being the female main character?
Yes. Wasn't the worm thing black? Wait, what worm? The Midgard worm?
Yeah.
I picture the Midgard worm like
From SpongeBob?
yeah.
The Alaskan bullworm?
Yeah, so it might be black, but to me, it's the Alaskan worm. Okay. Thank you, Kay, for doing the research. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so Nesta, right?
Sorry. She's saying the worm of the hypaxia draws out the venom, and it's in the shape of a worm, and she puts it in a little thing, and she does stuff to make an antidote. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's what she's talking about. Sorry, keep going. I missed those. That's what she's talking about. I don't know why it's called a worm.
Yeah.
It's like parasite.
Because the Midgard worm is WYRM, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's just like I just imagine it like a little black, maybe not black, but it's described as a worm when she puts it in the vial. I think that's what they're talking about.
like a leech.
All right, sorry, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay, because you were talking about Nesta being set up to be, right? So I think she's the actual female main character of ACOTAR. Here is why. Little notes. Okay, so we have Aelin, Bryce, and then Nesta. In comparison, these are all of the things that they have in common. They are classically trained in dance. They are classically trained in music. They have further education. So Aelin has education to be an assassin. Bryce is in university. And Nesta had the education from her mother on how to be a lady, a queen. They've all done the drop alone. We just discussed this. When you're not supposed to be able to do a drop alone. They're all called queens. Like Aelin's literally a queen. Bryce is literally a queen at the end of the series. And Nesta is called a queen multiple times throughout the series. They all have flame, right? So Aelin has flame, Bryce has starlight, and Nesta has silver flames. They're all descendants. They don't like listening to authority. They're all strong-willed. They're all known for their attitudes.
I love them. I love all of three of them.
Like that, Feyre does not fit into a single one of these. She's not educated. She doesn't know how to dance. She doesn't value music. She has done the drop, but that's different. She's not a queen. She's called a high lady, but Rhys just told her she's a high lady. She wasn't chosen by the land. He's just like, here's a title. She doesn't have flame power. Well, she might, I guess. But that's like from a drop of a High Lord. She's not like a descendant. She listens to authority, obviously. She's not very strong-willed. Her will is bent, and she's not known for her attitude. So she is not the main character of ACOTAR.
I agree. I agree with you. I think that
Drinking is wrong.
Yeah, facts. That's so funny. With respect, I mean, we're out here drinking our little. By the way, I don't know if you guys. We're gonna do a drink every time. This was so good. By the way,
Isn't it so good? Okay,
it's called a coupe.
this is not like a promotion, but look how cute is this?
Yeah, so she got the recipe from here.
Look at this. These are all the books that they have recipes of.
Oh my gosh, is it more than one ACOTAR, or is it only one?
This is more books. There's like a few. Well, I sent you that one. That's the like Tamlin one that has absinthe in it. I was like, let's do that one.
Okay, wait. I wanted to answer your little theory really quick. I think that could also be why when Tamlin goes into the cottage, he's smelling, and he smells for the sisters because he's like, "You're what I actually am here for, but you're the one who did it." Yeah. And I think that also has a lot to say for the fact that Nesta would definitely be, just to like speak on Rhys for a second, Nesta would definitely be, if it was like plotting and planned for just baseline sustenance. We're not even saying like to be a bad person, just because I need this magic, we'll just say. If it was plotting and planning to make this like magical tool, Nesta would be the better option power-wise, because they likely, if they can smell out their future, they can smell out who's going to have more ability for power. But she is also more headstrong, so she is least likely to be bent and manipulated. And I think that that's kind of why it works out that way. Although I will say that I do love their, like the flirty. I love Akamath. I'm a romance girly. I'm here for the romance. Yeah. But I do love to look at like what could it actually be. But I am here for the romance. I love it.
That's exactly why I think Rhys has had his hand in this beforehand, because he knew it was supposed to be Nesta, and he's like, wait, no, this girl's uneducated. He's already in her mind. He's sending her images in her mind. He's like, I can bend her to my will, and she's still from this bloodline. She can still fulfill this whatever, but I want that one. And so I think I agree with you. Like Tamlin's like, wait, it's supposed to be that one, but for some reason, how is it you? How is it you?
Yeah, that is very interesting. I agree. Di said, oh wait, hold on, I'm gonna go back up. Oh, I missed some. Sorry. Missy said, put that to Braxis once the Braxis wants the FMC Aelin's son, Nesta. Yes, we were just talking about this. I think though that she wants her children, because Thea is the Greek goddess of the blue sky, which is she's whatever. She would be under dusk because she comes from Vesperus. And then the Greek goddess Thea has 3 children: Eos the dawn, Selene the moon, and Helios the sun. So it's like when Bryaxis is like, I want the sun, the moon, and the stars, she also says to Thea says to her children, when we're done with this, I want to basically go to hell and like live out the rest of my life there. And so like, what if she, in dying, we don't know what happens to her. What if she goes to hell? What if she is like turned into Bryaxis? Because everyone says at the bottom of the library is also like sort of a link to hell. What if she is Bryaxis and she's like, I want the sun and the moon and the stars. I want to see my children. And Amber's like, a window. Like, I don't think that's what she was talking about.
I love what Tasha just said. Feyre is Selena and Nesta is Aemon.
Oh, I just like this. Ooh. That's really interesting. Oh, that is really, I liked our life. Okay. That's really interesting. I like that idea. I like that. Wait, go back up. Somebody said, I said, I think Tamlin is a wolf shifter like in CC, but a god level one. I highlighted the part because it says that he has a gray body. It says that his fur is charcoal, obsidian, and ivory. But right before that, it says the silver-furred wolf. His massive silver body, which is the Fendir wolf color.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they come from a really.
They're all related, absolutely. I think I didn't even highlight it because I was like given. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait. As he said, you said that Thea is the blue sky god. She's the goddess of the light of the blue sky, which is sometimes referenced as like Twilight, especially because she's Vesper's daughter. But yes, the Hagenids had the blue sky god. Ooh.
Yep.
The Pack of Devils has its beast form, and they were talking about the emblem and the horns being the same, which is so funny. I think Mort. What if Mort is the skull on Hell's little boat? Well, no, not Hell's boat. That's a stag skull. On Hofast, the House of Flame and Shadow, like the actual house in the story, they have like a skull knocker. I wonder if that's Mort.
I love Mort.
I love him. He's so funny. So funny.
Someone else said something. Hold on, what was it? Oh, she was the main character of her arc, first 3 books. Not sure why it has to be the entire series. Absolutely, yeah, she was the main character of the first 3, and I think that's why people get so like they're like, why would it switch POVs? And it's like, duh, it was on purpose. Like, she's not the main character. I don't. But that's my opinion. She's not the main character, but obviously. We don't know what we don't know.
I think maybe it's because typically the pattern is that it's usually one. So there is like this confusing, I guess. And also I saw someone said that like Feyre was tasked with motherhood, so she's like done. And that, I don't like the pregnancy trope in any story. I that's just something I don't like to read. Like I love the Lord series, for instance, when I just want to read about some smut. But I can't stand that they end this freaking series on a pregnancy. That drives.
I think it's a tool. I don't think it's
a spoiler. But there are endings where it ends in pregnancy. I wasn't trying to spoil the whole thing. That's not a huge spoiler, but it's like it's like literally written just to be like, we're done. I don't like that.
No, I agree with Missy. What Missy just said, that it's to show her getting manipulated by Feyre and Daemodied, and then we are Daemodied in turn with that.
And Daemodied, yes, I like that.
Yeah. I think Rhys is already the bad guy. And okay, here, Tasha, I'm gonna dispel this for you. And I made a video about it actually. There is an actual video, like, and I clipped it where someone asks if she has based Rhys after her husband, and she actually gags. So Rhys is not based after her husband. They just share a birthday. So just for that little tidbit.
Yeah, I did think that I saw her say that separately, but I'm sure I did see that video of her gagging as well.
Yeah, she's like, no.
But she also is like, Tamlin is horrible. So I feel like, just like you said, she could be.
And she says both. Like, because when ACOTAR was out, she's like, Tamlin love story. And then once it switches to Rhys, she's like, oh, Tamlin. Although, can we just say, I hate when people say tampon. Like, can we not do the misogyny thing? Like,
yeah.
Come on.
I do think that just purely for backlash purposes, I think somebody else said it. I think Kay. Bye, Kay. Thank you so much. Kay was saying, we were talking about, no, I lost my train of thought. It's not your fault, or not your fault, chat. But basically, we were talking about, what were we just saying? What were we talking about? Oh, I was thinking that it doesn't take away from truth, but she is going to have a handful of people who are pissed if she does make it that Reese is the big bad. Because I think that so many people have done 4 books now of like loving Resand, where they're like, oh, this book is done. Anyone who got a tattoo of Tamlin is dumb. Everyone's like, oh, you stupid idiot, you got a tattoo of Tamlin. And then all of these people are getting Reese tattoos for 4 books. I definitely could just see how that would be a huge problem for a lot of people. I would never do a tattoo of an unfinished series, but that's just me.
Right. I think it's 50-50, honestly. And here's my opinion on that, about people who will be really mad about the whole Reese being bad thing. And that doesn't mean he's not redeemable. He hasn't showed any remorse. So in my opinion, he's still morally black. He's not morally gray. But here's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of people who are romance readers found fantasy through ACOTAR because of the romance aspect. So they're expecting like, oh, Reese and Feyre, they're mates and now they had a baby and they're going to have a happy ever after because that's how romance goes. But they've never actually read fantasy.
Yeah.
And fantasy doesn't mean you get your happy ever after with those people.
Yeah.
So, and she's a fantasy writer. Like, at her core, she's a fantasy writer. So I think if she doesn't make Reese at least a little bit of evil with all of the groundwork she's set, that her fantasy readers are going to be upset. And I think herself, she would be upset. And I think that would be like a publishing thing. Like, her publishers would be like, you can't do this because of X, Y, Z. But it's like, well, I'm a fantasy writer. I'm not a romance writer.
Yeah.
So, and I almost think this is why ACOTAR 6 has taken so long, and I think she's beefing with Bloomsbury.
That's a really good point.
I think some stuff has been going down recently because she posted that she was wrote or finished the first draft, right? Bloomsbury wasn't included in that. She didn't like collaborate with them on that. She didn't tag them in it, nothing. Bloomsbury was shocked that she did that.
Oh, dang.
So I think she's got the upper hand right now, and I think she's trying to show them like, hey, I'm a fantasy writer, and you're not going to tell me what to do.
Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. So,
I kind of looked into it, but my I was telling you about that podcast, the Romantasy Readers podcast that an author that I love has. They have a whole episode on it, and they go really in depth on, like, they're so good at research with stuff like that, and it honestly makes sense. Like, there's some beefing going on with her publisher.
that's crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's really weird.
I agree with.
I feel like she should just. Well, I don't feel like she's gonna leave Reese and be with someone else. I don't really have any skin in my. I don't really.
Well, she's in too many bargains with him. I don't think there's a way out.
I feel like her death bargain might be met. Well, I don't think it's a death pact. I think it's like similar to the Rowan and Aelin, where it's like, wherever we go together, because the place she's talking about is the place she spoke to with the Carver, which is just the in-between. And I think what they just mean is generally like, it's such a left open bargain, it can have a loophole. So it's like, when we go to that place, we go together. And that's just wherever they go. Mm-hmm. But doesn't she technically die at the end? So doesn't that relieve her?
That's like kind of bringing a big question about, like, I think maybe Antoinette did a video on this, and maybe I'm wrong, but that the death pact or the death bargain actually doesn't include Reese. It's Feyre. Like, if he dies, she dies. But if she dies, he's fine. Because why didn't he die? Because she technically died when she gave birth to Nyx. But how come how come
I was
Reese
wondering,
didn't
but I
die?
wonder if it's like the seconds before because they didn't.
But we weren't there during those bargains.
But it didn't
We
say
didn't
that
get to see the bargain or the marriage. We didn't get to see either of those.
Yeah.
So we're in the dark.
I feel like she may not have because for Nesta to bring her back to life, that would be a different situation. So that's why I was like, I don't know if she technically died because
And we're
if
obviously not there yet. But
I think
I
that Nesta
thought
saw
she did.
time right before, like as she was dying. So I feel like that's what because otherwise she would have to have been brought back to life, which would require the 7 drops, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
did she? I'll have to.
And their bargain is he does say when we go we'll go to that place together. So I don't know, but they are.
I just don't think it's like a death bargain.
I don't think so either because again they're referencing the place where Feyre went during her drop, which is I think like the doors.
Mm-hmm.
It's the in between, like where Aylin's looking through all the different doors and when she's closing the lock. But
I also think I think he made because here's my also view. Sorry, I know we're tangenting off of the first 5 chapters, but here's my thing. Why, if you're mates, why do you need all of these bargains? Right? Like it doesn't make sense to me why you would need these if you're true mates, because like we never see Aelin and Rowan make bargains for each other. They just do things for each other because they're mates.
but do they have a bargain system?
Rowan and Aelin.
Does Throne of Glass have a bargain system where like you have to be held to a bargain? I can't remember.
The blood oaths.
Well, that's a blood oath though, versus like
that's what I think the bargains from Night Court because they're sealed by tattoos. I think that's a blood oath.
well they could but there are bargains in all of Prithian, and they only the ones in Night Court are sealed with the tattoo, which I do think is similar to like the halos where it's like a connection to like the magic that Amarantha used to take some of their power. Anyway, that's an off tangent, but I think that a bargain to me is like a deal. I do this, you do this, we are in agreement. Versus, look at me, I got sidetracked. Versus like the blood oath is like,
It's a bargain. It's just sealed differently. I think that's how I view it.
I think it's like a continuous. It's like a continuous. Whereas like the bargain is like when I call in my bargain, you have to do it. The blood oath is similar to that in whatever they say you have to. It's like a continuous bargain. So I do agree that they're very similar. I do think, but I meant more so like, is there like we shake on this deal, which doesn't really happen in Throne of Glass, but it does happen in Prithian. 2 people who are not like mates can make bargains, which is I feel like where like blood oath is more tied to the universe, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Feyre's mate bond with Rhysand is literally a blood oath. His tattoos are oaths. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying about the like when she gives her blood to him to heal him. But I don't think that I personally don't think that every bargain in the Night Court is a blood oath. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's similar to a blood oath.
Okay.
I don't think it's exactly the same, but I think it's as close as like you get to a blood oath there because like they each have, like you were saying, they each have their own different ways of doing bargains. Where like in Throne of Glass, it's blood oaths. In Prithian, it's bargains. What do we see in Crescent City? I don't even feel like we see.
I don't think they have like a deal system.
We haven't seen something like that aside from what you said with like the tattoos to the angels. But that's more like a punishment type thing. But I guess it could be considered similar. But that's what makes me think of like Cassian and Azriel. Like they're covered in tattoos, so those have to be some kind of bargains, right?
Yeah, I don't know
because we don't see people just going out and getting tattoos for the fun of it.
So that is their connection to the Illyrians. They have it's like someone who is Samoan, or what can I think? It's like it's like a cultural thing to a degree to represent your culture with the tattoos. But I think that there is like a seeping of their power going on within that. But I guess I was more so saying that I do think that what they're trying to make the tattoos seem like is a cultural. They're trying to make it a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for, Tasha. You know, I couldn't get the word out. Jeez, that's exactly what I was thinking. Maori. 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 Spell it phonetically, because I probably said it wrong.
I have so many crack theories. And honestly, that's like why I wanted to reread, because I'm like, I have all these theories in my brain. I want to know if there's like meat to it. You know what I mean?
Yes. So it's so funny. This is just random, but Feyre paints the foxglove flower on the table, which is linked to the underworld, and it's like an omen of danger. She paints it on her little thing. I love how, oh yeah, it's associated with fairy folk. It's also called witches' gloves or dead man's bells, and it grows near the land of the dead.
And she brings attention to that a lot. That specific painting within the house. Is that why you highlighted it? Because I feel like she like talks about it so much. Like she keeps looking at it, like in her conversation with Nesta, and then
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's like ashamed of it, which is weird. She's like, it killed me to not have white paint. Like, what? Girl.
Which made me laugh because I love the theory that Feyre's actually really bad at painting.
Oh my God, stick figures. I thought she was bad. I thought she was bad at painting when I first read it. Also, Tasha, thank you. I swear I can't say it right now. I don't know why, but I've said it before. I can't say it now. It's because I'm stage fright. That's so funny. I'm sweating over here in front of this damn light, girl. I probably gotta, let's see. We gotta round her up here in a second. We're so funny. It's hard to at the beginning because it's like, we're just reading all kinds of.
I know. So I guess maybe we should ask the chat. Should Morgan and I start a podcast where we actually have like a
yapping and recapping.
But we have like an outline that we stick to. This is just like a yapping. This is fun. I love it.
It's like loosely guided, and I think that in general we would still go off topic.
Obviously,
I tried to listen to Fantasy Fangirls before I had read stuff. Yeah. So I was like, this is annoying me because it's like, don't read this if you haven't, stop here if you haven't gone, whatever. But then they'll just go on. And I'm like, good thing I read. You guys are spoiling shit. So
we would still do the lives, Tasha. Like we would still do this, but like, should we also?
I know. I want to. I'm trying to think of. So there's like a little bit of some cool foreshadowing. It's not that crazy, but when Tamlin's coming to take her, he says, for having the nerve to request where I slaughter you, I'll let you in on a secret, human. Prithian must claim your life in some way for the life you took from it. And full circle, at the end of this book, which I just made the video about, Bree says, for what she gave. So first, it was what she took, which put her in this situation. And for what she gave, she was able to become immortal. And what I made the video about was that she was able to claim power, and she got a side of the prize, which was immortality. So, but it's just I love the full circle. I love her little, like the little tiny things is my absolute favorite part. I love finding the puzzle pieces.
I didn't before this, but I wanted to compare the start and finish of each ACOTAR book with the start and finish of like the publishing order to see how it compares. Sorry, Smoothie Queen asked if we would focus on who may actually be evil in the series. Duh.
Hello.
I mean,
I don't think you can
hello.
talk about it without, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's fun. But we are also not going to be. I just don't like the vibes where it's like
absolute.
bad,
No, it's like
absolutes. I don't like that. But yes, I do like to explore it. So I just wanted to
I feel
see.
like it's like the red string theory. Like we're just
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you're just like, who
Fun
is
to
it?
be fun. Yes.
Yeah, like it can't be definite until the series
Thank
ending.
you. I think that's the thing is like we can headcanon. That's what we can do, and I love that. But to a point. And then we got more story to read. We got more to
Yeah,
get.
it makes it fun. Also, I don't know if I've said this. My dad was a homicide detective, so I'm like a little detective.
Sleuthing.
You give me like a speck, and I'm gonna.
Yeah. And I have the TISM. So I can sit on a sentence I've done many times on my videos, and I'm like, this one word has triggered me. And so you and I are the perfect detectives for this adventure.
Yes. Yeah,
This is
and I have
so fun.
ADHD
I
too, so.
have, in only 5 chapters, I have used probably, I think, 45 tabs.
Oh, I can't wait to get my tabs. I'm almost nervous to do it because so I've convinced my husband to read these, right? So he's currently reading front of class, so it'll be a while before he gets here. But I'm like, do I just destroy this book
Who?
and then he has to like deal with it?
Wait, who? I didn't hear the beginning.
Oh, my husband.
Oh, oh my gosh. So he's reading.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so fun. I've verbalized the entire mass verse to my husband. He knows every character. He knows everything about the story because I sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to catch you up on what I've read. And he knows everything
Oh my
as
God.
if he's read the story. I mean, not everything, but um, points for him because he sits there and he's like, so who's your favorite couple in the mass verse? I love
Oh,
it.
I love that. I think my husband was just like, because he hears me talking about it and all this stuff, and then he's like, I'm gonna read it. And so he was like, well, what should I read first? And I was like, front class, because mostly I don't want you to know what I'm really reading. Not yet.
So funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my husband's rereading Aragon. So I'm like, I'm rereading this. Can I just read it out loud to you? Because you know I love to read out loud. And he's like, I'd rather just read it. I'm like, all right, I guess. Tasha, ADHD. Yeah, girl, same here. That's why I go on a 12-minute. That's why, Megan, we were talking about, I record like 18-minute videos. You know the cutting that I have to do in my videos? What am I? Your girl can talk. I have quite a few things to say.
Do you
And
ever like record a whole video and then you're like, gotta do it different, and then just re-record the whole
I
thing?
have to sometimes because
Yes, because you're like, oh, well, now I have my thoughts organized.
for me, it's more of like, I'm a perfectionist and I like very honed edges. Everything is, not like perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect, but more so honed edges. And sometimes because I can rally and go all over the place, I will go everywhere, but I will forget like the crux of my point or like this really big thing. Like, I'll get all the little details in and I'm like, but I forgot this, which was
That's the
really
thing I was
necessary.
talking about.
I know, but sometimes like the mythology video that I did the other day that was 12 minutes, I was like, I'm not reshooting this video. That was a one take. I'm not retaking this video.
It was perfect. Literally, I was listening to it like a podcast. I told you, I was driving home from getting drinks, and I was like, play, like literally in my car, like, and then I was pausing it to voice note you.
She was like, I'm listening to your podcast. I'm like, okay. I'm just talking for a long time. Oh
It
my
was
god.
perfect.
Hi, Tati. Hi, friend.
I think Candy's here. Hi, Candy.
Hi. I didn't even see.
Someone asked about our recording. Yes. So, we were thinking of uploading it on my YouTube, the whole thing, so you can go back and watch it to catch up.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to do long form of it. I don't know. I tried to do the YouTube. This is so embarrassing. I put all my videos on private on YouTube because I'm not kidding you. I did the beauty influencer thing. Like TikTok is not my first rodeo.
You were telling me about that.
It's very embarrassing. And I was like, Trevor's like, you should leave him up. I'm like, nope.
Delete. We're starting fresh. That's okay. Sometimes you just gotta start fresh. Sometimes.
Yeah. Some of them have like multi-thousand views, and I'm like, I can't believe I did this. I used to have blue hair though.
I used to have pink hair. You blue-haired liberal freak.
I know.
Liberal freak squad. Okay, I want to tell you guys. I want to tell you one more thing, and then you have to pop off here in a second. My husband's like, I want to hang out with you.
That's what we're reading.
We're reading. This is my friend.
We're rereading.
We're rereading and we're deep diving. But so 44, page 44. I just wanted to point out the connection to Throne of Glass. So it is the second paragraph, and it says, as far as we knew, the High Fae still governed the northern part of our world. And obviously we know that we don't have much of a map outside of Prithian, outside of the map that we're given, but it says, from our enormous island over the narrow sea, separating us from the massive continent, across depthless fjords and frozen wastelands and sandblasted deserts, all the way to the great ocean on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So the frozen wastes and the sandblasted deserts, for those people who think that this could be also be Aurelia, I don't think you're wrong.
I completely agree.
Also,
And I find it suspicious that with Crescent City, we only have Lunakian.
oh,
We don't
yeah,
we don't have anything beyond
We're sketchy.
the city. Like,
I don't know what you. What was I gonna say about? Oh, God damn it! I did it again. I'm so
Cheers.
bad. Cheers. Oh, I wanted to leave you guys. This is my leave you on this note. What if, so for a while I was trying to figure out what AE meant in Crescent City, and I was like, is it after Erewhon? You know, it's like after death, you know, in normal like AD, all that stuff. What if it's after Eleusian, which is the Eleusian cycle, which is the drop? What if they change the system of being Fae, whatever that is, becoming immortal, claiming your power? What if they change it, and what if AE is after Eleusian? So, I don't know. Also, Aphraxia, I don't like that. I don't think that that's. I feel like Aphraxia. Bryce tries to make it seem like Aphraxia is separate from the land of the Starborn Fae, but I don't think that it says that, and I honestly think Aphraxia is Prithian. Because it says that the denizens of the world rallied together and they had to evacuate, which is what happens in Prithian, whereas in Throne of Glass, they're defeated. Nice way to say we lost. Nice way to say we died and they all fell from the sky. The Ilkin fell from the sky, all the beasts, they disappeared, they all died. They didn't evacuate, they died. Aurelia cannot be Aphraxia. I will die on that hill. Sorry. Don't like it.
oh my god, I love how everyone's like talking about the map too.
Oh yeah. Wait.
We need someone to just put all of the maps together and see how
America.
they overlap.
That's a very good point because Dasha just posted a video. I don't think it's in English, but I think she has subtitles on it. She sent me a message. We were talking about how Hiberian is another name for Ireland, which Hibern.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it's Ireland, but it just was interesting that she found this really cool connection. So if you're friends with Dasha, she posted that video recently. I love her video. She's so sweet. I do have to go here. I do have to go. I love hanging out. It's so fun.
It's late when you are.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I love hanging out with you guys. We weren't getting organized, but it was fun. I still had fun.
Oh, yeah. So Fable. Everyone
Yeah, go ahead.
get Fable. If you don't have Fable, it's a book tracking app like Goodreads but better.
I forgot.
And we have a book club. It's super cute. It's the ACOTAR Reread. It's not showing up, but
Thank you, Tati.
It has, we can announce our lives, we have our lobby, our book recs, whatever. But so it's really cool because it goes chapter by chapter. So you can literally put your thoughts in each chapter, and then I'll talk to you later and we can set up like our milestones and how long we want to read this. And
Can you say it
then
doesn't
we'll,
have spoilers, which is really cool because you only write on the chapter that you're in. So that's really cool.
yeah. Yeah. So like I have other clubs that it's been like super helpful for. Like this is obviously like a reread, so likely you're gonna already know. But it's nice that like as you're reading, if you're like, oh shit, I want to make a note, like I'm gonna go into chapter 6 and write this. But you can also like post just like quote. It's so cool. I highly recommend getting on there and just getting like doing it. But you can sync it with your Goodreads. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to lose all my stuff, totally fine. You literally hit sync with Goodreads and it uploads all your stuff, so you can switch.
Ooh, that's super cool. I also wanted to just say, I've been meaning to say, I'm sure people know this, but
Yes, Fable app.
Fable. So I need to get on there too. But yeah, Tati, please join us if you're interested. On Kindle, if you guys are reading Kindle, I'm sure you guys have seen this, but if you haven't, I thought it was really interesting. If you go to like the little dots, whatever on the side, click the X-ray button. X-ray brings what Kindle thinks, the program thinks, are very important hits in the story. So for each book, if you click X-ray, it will bring like definitions, it will bring characters, it will kind of give you little clips of their first interaction or important interactions with them. It'll give you, I don't know if you can show it while you're on there. It is so cool, just as like a little reminder. So you click X-ray, and then it gives you, it's like a glossary. It's really freaking cool, and you can do it for each book that you're in. And I'm a Kindle girl.
Tell me why it says Amarantha Claire.
Well, if you click it, it might be she's talking about Claire Better.
Okay, I was like,
So and you can click whatever the little thing is, you can click it and it'll take you to where in the story it's getting that information from. So it might just be popping up, but usually it's like a really good little connection. So
yeah.
I use it because I think it's cool to, if you're trying to remember like what's going on in the book, or if you want just to find something quickly. I love my Kindle.
I know. I use on my iPad obviously, but I use the Kindle app. But yeah, so join Fable, join our book club. It's called ACOTAR Reread, and then we'll come up with a timeline for like how long we want to read. And what's really cool, so like say someone joins later and we've already moved on to like the next book, they can go back in the archives and still go chapter by chapter, and they can still comment, which is so. I know.
So we're gonna share these videos, and we're gonna try to figure out how to co-host. So we don't know how to. We're figuring it out. Okay, we're doing the best we can.
Everyone who was here in the beginning,
we're pressing buttons on the screen. What's happening? But we also can make a fan club where we can message and have like a group chat. Do you have it linked in your bio? Are you talking about Fable?
I have Fable in my bio. I will link our exact book club.
I'll put one in my bio too. I have a link tree. And then we're going to alternate adding the event, because we're going to alternate hosting. So next week I'm going to host. The link will be in my bio or under my bio where there's like the live registration. And we're not sure if we're going to do the same time, because we do want to include some friends in the Central European time zone, and they're 6 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
So we might do like a midday sometimes on Sunday. We might switch it up. Just keep an eye out for what day or time we'll do posts. We'll try to be more organized. It's fun. I love spiraling.
We can do the lives for like our, our little kiki, and then maybe one day we'll start a podcast and do
girl. Yapping and recapping. I can't stop saying that. I've been saying that all day.
I love it. I also love like Morgan and Megan.
I know, it's so funny. Mo and Meg, Meg and Mo. All right, you guys. We're just gabbing. My husband's like, "Can we hang out?" Okay.
I know.
Thank you.
So way longer than we thought.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Megan, for doing this with me. I love chatting with you guys. I hope that you guys come next time, and have a good week.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye, Megan. Bye, everybody.